Breaking economy news, unemployment claims, and third quarter productivity. Third quarter productivity comes out after the third quarter GDP report last week. Productivity is 1.6% in the third quarter, a little different than the 1.5% real GDP. Productivity is running 0.6% so far in 2015, after rising 0.7% in 2014. In truth, we never had much use for this statistic. Growth in the labor force plus productivity equals GDP, and you might as well just look at GDP with the more interesting component stories of consumer spending, business capex, housing starts, exports, government spending, etc. Within the report, however, is a measure of wages in the U.S., how much workers are being paid. There are three basic wage measures the Fed staff take a look at to see whether the labor market is tight enough to pay workers their fair share. If the labor market is tight, then the Fed might be coaxed into raising interest rates. Three wage measures. Average hourly earnings and the employment report out on Friday, 2.2% September 2015. The employment cost index, released for the third quarter last Friday, 2% for the third quarter of 2015. And wages in the productivity report this morning, or more properly, compensation per hour, which are up 3% in the third quarter of 2015, or 2.4% on a year-to-year basis. Are we clear? Crystal. Anyway, based on today's compensation data, workers are not all that productive, or there are too many of them, more than needed, pushing boulders up corporate hills. Third quarter 2015 productivity is running just 0.6% so far in 2015, but compensation is running faster at 2.2% over the first three quarters of 2015. Net, not a lot of new news out there this morning before the big show on Friday morning with the monthly employment situation report out for October. Unemployment claims rose 16,000 to 276,000 in the October 31 week. No rhyme or reason here, but keep in mind seasonally the layoffs go sky high starting the first week of every November every year as the cold winter layoffs start, and it may be hard to adjust for these. Productivity, you can look at 1.5% real GDP for the third quarter or 1.6% productivity. The choice is yours. Productivity is slower, running just 0.6% so far over the first three quarters of this year, and matches the story of slower 2% something real GDP. There is nothing worrisome about the slower data, as it is driven by the retiring baby boom generation spending less. There is some wage data in the report. The Fed wants to see evidence that wages are going up before liftoff, although sometimes Yellen backpedals and says they won't wait for wages before raising interest rates. Make up your mind. Compensation per hour will be headlined at 3%, but it is really running 2.2% over the first three quarters of the year, about the same as it ever was. Stay tuned. More breaking news on the economy tomorrow morning with the dreaded monthly jobs report. Let's hope for some excitement because the market did not lift its sleepy head for this morning's jobless claims and productivity data. Nothing out today to change investors' views on bonds or stocks.